working with buyers, doing it well, what it's like right now in this market that we're in, what you need to know, especially if you are a new real estate agent. These are some of the things we're going to be covering today. We are going to be having a conversation about this today.
I think like our mindsets and the way we've operated our business here in Oregon, it's kind of shifted because when we first got in the business, even I would say during COVID, 2020, 2018 especially, we always wanted to get listings, okay? Listings were the key piece to running a successful real estate business. And right now, I really think the main topic right now is how can you attack buyers? How can we get better at gaining buyers, but also keeping them after maybe that first showing? Because now we all have to have that buyer's agency agreement, right?
That's so true. Well, here's the thing. Listings are always amazing because you can, say you have a good handful of listings. You can be out of town and still doing whatever you need to do for those listings. They still sell while you're out of town. You get paid and all of that. But I feel like as new agents, we don't really realize how big of an impact the housing market has on how fun it is as an agent to work with buyers versus sellers. Yeah. Because when listings are sitting longer and just taking longer to sell, it's harder to keep the sellers happy when the days on market are high, which is shifting. And we'll talk about that. I'm seeing it shift at least. I don't know about you. I want to hear your input on this. But I know with clients I'm working with lately, I'm seeing this out in the housing market changes. But over the last couple of years, it hasn't been you're right. Like it hasn't been as fun to work with sellers as it was before because days on market are higher, a little harder for them to sell.
I mean, not only has the market shifted though, I mean, you just have a little bit less listings out there. We're all aware, listing inventory's been down. And then ultimately sellers, what other options have there been to purchase? Yeah. I really think that's been the key takeaway when specifically working with sellers. So I'm gearing towards a listing agent. For the topic of the day though, like buyers, if you're a buyer's agent and you're representing them, going out, getting showings, booking showings multiple times a week, multiple times a day, I think you're killing it. And I really do believe in this real estate market in 2026, 2027, we are headed towards a golden era. Anybody that's asking me, hey, Spencer, we've all been there, right? Hey, Spencer, how's this real estate market? Can you give me a real estate update? I'm generally telling them, ultimately, we hear the interest rates. Okay, we know we're in the fives now. That's amazing. Great. When you're talking interest rates, the only people that care about that are the buyers. Yeah. Because that's what their home loan's going to be carried at.
Yep. That's true. And speaking of that, though, I think we should just touch on what we're seeing before we get into, tips for agents as they're working with buyers, possibly for the first time, like what you need to know and questions agents are asking us about it, that kind of thing. I think we should talk about like what we're seeing in the market because I have seen shifts as far as working with buyers goes. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Before we talk about the market though, I do have one thing though. Okay. If I am talking directly to an agent is I remember when I first got licensed, even Mariah, still to this day, the contracts are always changing. Yeah. I would always recommend read through the contract. Even if you don't have a buyer right now and you're working towards gaining a new client, know the contract from the beginning all the way to the end. And then what documents are specifically needed in your specific brokerage? Because I know the vast differences between our prior brokerage and now the one we're at, Real Broker. There are agreements and things that I honestly didn't even know existed, and it kind of made me feel guilty in some ways. It didn't pertain to the sale by any means, but they were just required documents that our brokerage Real requires. And so a lot of our job is to be educated individuals, right? Yeah. And so when you get these random questions from your new client, maybe that first time home buyer that reads every specific line in the contract, I honestly can sometimes forget. I can, because in my eyes, I try to keep it as simple as possible. We're in the service industry. So if I'm complicating and just muddying the waters when we're trying to submit an offer on specific properties, I don't feel like I'm doing my job. Now, if there's specific key questions that buyers have, that's me needing to know what exact answer to give them. If I don't know the answer, don't BS them. Yeah. So So go to your principal broker. Go look it up on ChatGPT. Who knows?
Yeah.
But verify your information before you spit it out to the client, because there's a reason they're asking. They're a little nervous. They'll probably be doing their digging too. My advice to you, though, is before we really talk about like buyers, I'm talking directly to you as the agent. Okay. Know the list, not the listing contract, the buyer's agency exclusive agreement, but also the sale agreement.
Yeah.
Whether it's a residential, manufactured home, commercial, whatever you specialize in. I really, really do believe you will be a better agent because you know the ins and outs of that contract. And that'll help you lead the way and pave the path of success for your clients from beginning of escrow all the way to the end.
Yeah, and it will really just give you confidence as well, working with them with it. And like what you said about reading through the contract, I think reading it out loud, word for word, line by line, is actually a really, really good idea and a great way to get to know it. Obviously, go to your local MLS, your local, NAR, and sign up for the contract classes to get to know it that way. Yeah. But like Spencer said, print it and read it word for word. That's it. And we're not lawyers. Legally, there's advice. No. We cannot, be explaining the contract to them. There's a lot of gray areas there in that way, but we got to know it for sure.
Well, here's the deal. I remember I used to go on the MLS, find a specific property, and then act as if I was the buyer purchasing that property, and I would fill in the contract that way.
Oh.
So it would be, how we always, I cold call, right?
Yeah.
So you're practicing before your calls.
Yeah.
Okay. Put your job into practice before you actually do it. I guarantee you're going to have a lot more success that way.
I love that. Okay. So now that we covered that, because that was important, what are you seeing? I mean, as far as, because I know what I'm seeing, I'm curious, what are you seeing from the buyers you're working with? In sellers in this housing market, just as far as the last few weeks, we've seen some changes.
Let me just tell you, there's an itch. There is an itch. Okay, we all got that crazy back itch. Sometimes you just can't quite reach. Well, I feel like current home sellers have that itch. Maybe they've only lived in the property 2 years, maybe going on 4 years. Heck, they could have been there 7 years. But if that's the case, the longer they've lived there, the more equity they have, making them feel even more confident as a consumer looking to buy their next property. And that itch is not just because they're unhappy, it's because they have bought previously and the home's usually going to be too small. It was their first time starter home, and they're looking to move up in the world in a sense. Okay, not that they own a home and they're not good, but they're looking to move up. Maybe they bought the house with only one baby at the time. Now they're on 3, and they just need more space.
Yeah,
I've been working with a lot more clients that want more space on the exterior, not necessarily interior base, meaning the house itself, the structure, but the piece of land that they're buying. Like they want a quarter plus acre, different location, more land, exactly. And so that's kind of been refreshing for me. Haven't really been doing more of the 2020 builds and plus newer construction styles. I don't know if it's just the demographic of who I've been working with currently or lately, but what I seriously am seeing is there's existing home sellers needing to sell the house, so they do need you as a realtor representing them on the sale, but they are needing that upgrade. And you know what? That I think he quoted himself at 5.75 yesterday during the showing. That's a pretty good interest rate. Mariah and I were talking. Our first home I think we ever bought in 2017, it was 5.75 is an interest rate. So we're definitely coming down and getting people more comfortable as a consumer. The only hardest part is realizing, man, what you're paying for these houses versus what you maybe did 4 years ago. The price tags are still there, but it's a two double-edged sword, right? If you're a seller,
you wouldn't have had that equity.
You wouldn't have had that equity.
Yeah, and that equity is amazing.
And you're using that equity as part of your down payment. Because usually, I ask them, I'm like, are you only using the equity out of the sale, or do you have savings saved up? And they say no. We're looking to keep our savings for those remodel projects or property upgrades after the purchase.
That's common.
So just keep that in mind. Just because you don't have a big savings account doesn't mean you can't upgrade or just make a change. It could be the same price you bought your previous house at. But be patient and wait for that home to come on to market. And that's what I mean by there's opportunity out there. And to answer the question, just to finalize that, is I do think there's huge opportunity for sellers and buyers.
Yeah. And just more activity overall.
Yeah.
Like more, it's buzzing. The housing market's getting, I'd love to hear, by the way, if you're an agent, let us know in the comments, what market are you watching from and what are you seeing in your market? Okay. So now I want to know what we came for. What would you say to someone who's like, okay, I'm a new agent. What do I need to know? I'm nervous about working with my first buyer. Just what are some things I need to know beforehand? This is very broad. So obviously we are not covering everything in this short episode. We'll cover this more in the future. So subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't. But like, what is just something that they need to know?
Okay. So I'm going to say I get a lot of buyers for my listings. Go out and get a quick listing. And here's the deal. Somebody's going to probably reach out to you from like Zillow or something. Okay. So that's partly why they say, hey, when you list, you last.
Yeah.
Go out, try to get your listing. A new buyer will come from that. Okay. What do you do for maybe your first buyer? Is that the part of your question?
Yeah. Like, I'm just like, I have my first buyer. I'm new and I'm nervous. What do I do?
Okay.
What do I do?
So don't dilute the process. Just like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, don't make it complicated. The initial showing is not necessarily even talk about money. I hate talking about money in the homes because I don't even know if this thing's being filmed. The sellers, there's a lot of cameras nowadays.
So true. That's
and
so true.
I'm not looking to jeopardize my buyers' negotiations because we're talking openly in a home that I'm honestly unaware. Yeah, sometimes there's keynotes and people that actually tell you you're being recorded. Here in Oregon, to be honest, I never know.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Really never know.
So don't dilute the process, but don't really talk about money. Don't talk about finances. Get to the showing early. Seriously, don't be that realtor that is rushing out of their car. Yeah. Unlocking their MLS box, the key doesn't work.
It just sets a bad tone for the showing, you know?
Exactly. Just get there early. Because guess what? You're the professional.
Yeah.
They're hiring you. Yeah. It's the service industry. Don't forget that. So all the way from the first time they see you till the last, try to remain that professionalism in this real estate business. Get to the showing early and then look at the house personally. Create your script. Now, if you don't want to really talk during the showing, guess what? You don't really have to.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? Like, I just got to the point where I quit selling the house.
Oh, I never sell the house. I just ask them questions about their life, and I'm interested in them and the client. I'm not talking about the house. Like, they're gonna buy it or they're not. I'm there to like get to know the client as a person, and that's where you do need to feel it out because there's absolutely buyers who you get there and you start asking them questions like, "Oh, where are you guys from?" Blah blah blah, and it could just be the shut first off. They give you one word answers, and they're like totally like, "We don't want to talk to you," and then that's fine. I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna stand over here. You guys look around. Let me know if you have questions." Totally learn how to read people, and then there's others that are loving it, and they're like wanting to have conversation with you and just be interested in them as a person is a lot more important. Like, it's not your job to sell the home. They're going to buy it or not.
Right.
But something I do want to add, because I've had some agents reach out to me recently and ask about just wanting to have, they want to have a clear process as far as like they get a buyer client. They want to have a very, how do I say this? Like, cookie cutter, like every single time we do the same thing. This is my buyer presentation every single time. And it's just really hard for that to happen because again, every buyer is so different, and like some will want and appreciate that, like, let's hop on a call before we meet and I will walk you through the process, and others just don't really care or want that. So you really got to feel it out and feel people out and their personalities. And a lot of times it's not this big formal buyer's presentation where you're sitting them down and telling them like this. Like, yes, it was like when I was working with only relocation clients and they were coming from my YouTube channel and it was all over Zoom. That's 100% how it always was. That was like the process. But for all these other buyers I'm working with, like I was just working with these new buyers last night I met for the first time, and we were just walking through the house, and like naturally the questions will come up. And then that's through our conversation. It's like, oh, so yes, this is how this works. And then I ask them like, so what do you guys think about this? And what do you want here? And it just comes up through conversation a lot of times is what I'm trying to say.
And that's what I think separates, I hate relating our business to salespeople, but like,
well, we kind of are.
Exactly. The good salespeople versus the bad.
Yeah.
And I honestly do think you do have to be in the personality business too, and read the room, like you said, because every buyer is different. Yeah. Every buyer is different. And every time you meet a new client, it can be different. It doesn't have to look the same way. And so That's one of the cool things about our job. And it's funny when you scroll on Facebook or Instagram, sometimes you'll see like realtor reels and how like we have to balance like that client that's on a high day or a low day. And then they call us at 10 at night, like the work-life balance business. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. And people don't really see that side of our industry until we kind of talk about it or even make funny reels about it.
Right.
But I do think that buying process is really, really important, though, for your client to understand. Now, however you present that, it's up to you. I always like on the first meeting, and this is pretty routine for me. If it's the first time I've met with this new client at the listing or at the showing, at the end of the showing, okay, whether they're going to buy or not, I say, because this kind of introduces them to, hey, are we going to submit an offer on this or not?
Yeah.
But then ultimately, here's my steps that I'm going to take, okay, all the way from now to when we were to close this home if you were to write an offer.
Yes.
So I talk kind of metaphorical with them.
It's nice to give them clear next steps, just so they're not like, okay, what now?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And I mean, because, dude, here's the deal. There's some clients that are like, Spencer, take care of it.
Yes.
What do I need to do? Send me the docs. Let's sign it. Or tell me everything. Tell me
those
every
are the
step.
hard ones.
Every step.
More analytical.
Like,
I need to know every single thing. It's like you're not really gonna know.
I'm like, watch. I will take care of this for you. Okay?
Yeah.
that is what, in a sense, you've hired me to do, and ultimately, I get paid out of the seller's commission.
Yeah.
Whenever I drop that line, whether it's on the phone initially or in person, when I first contact with them in person.
Yeah.
Whenever I tell them, oh, by the way, I work for free. They're like, what do you mean, Spencer? Well, I get paid from the seller.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of buyers know this.
Yeah.
The seller actually pays me.
Yeah.
And you'll see in the offer, there's a section.
Yeah.
It says proceeds from seller, buyer's agent, commission, or flat rate.
Yeah.
So there's those things where you just kind of want to drop hints. And then during the showings and during the phone calls or during the texts, you want to do the relationship side.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, these are big transactions. You want them to feel comfortable, right? Like, I get it. Business is business, but like, I want to be comfortable with somebody I'm writing business with. Like, there's a reason anytime we've bought a car, I'm not a car guy. Okay. I've bought in like maybe 2 cars. I drive them. I let them just get beat up and I'll move on. I don't like returning them or buying. I stay off the car lots.
Yeah.
I've never once talked to that sales guy again.
It's true.
I've never once
it's true.
had that, hey man, let's go out and get some dinner.
It's true.
Do you know how many times?
I follow my car sales guy on Instagram though, and like,
no.
But he was a lot more personal than like the last time we went. But it's true. It's true. Yeah. No, I know.
Because
it's true.
I mean, in real estate, we do. I mean, dude, I get random texts sometimes. Like, it's hilarious. We get invited to birthday parties, barbecues, go out and coffee. There's, hey, can you come look at my house at this paint color choice?
It's
true. There's this different relationship than
it's true.
other sales industries. So that's why like. I don't really like relating our business to sales, even though we are salespeople. Yeah. I am a service to you.
Yes. We're in the service industry.
Yeah.
We're serving. We're serving.
Yeah.
Yes. Serving, not selling, but we're also selling for you. Okay. Well, you need to get to an appointment.
Did we answer the question though?
We did.
Because I know
that answered the question. But
I
you
talk,
guys,
I ramble sometimes.
No, that was all really good.
Especially when I'm. Hey, by the way,
advice.
What's in the cup, guys? What's in the cup, Mariah?
2 shots? 2 espresso shots?
Well, clarify shots here.
2 espresso shots.
Drinking.
It's morning right now. The time of filming this.
It's morning.
It's morning right now.
All right. Hey, if you want to buy me a coffee order, send me a Starbucks gift card. Who knows? 4 shots on ice. That's me.
That is his order. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. Speaking of, if we covered everything, if you still have more questions, I actually have in my phone, I didn't tell you this, I have a whole list of questions that have been asked to us from viewers, from you guys,
7 minutes. Give me
that
2
we're going
more.
to answer. No, we're going to do like a whole show with them because there's a lot of them. Okay. And so I'm just letting you guys know we'll be doing that sometime soon, that like Q&A where we just answer your guys' questions about getting into real estate, starting your business. So send us your questions, either email them to us, email in the description, or leave them in the comments. We are here to answer them for you. And if you are an agent outside of the state of Oregon and you have a client relocating to or just needing an agent here in Oregon, we would love to send you a referral fee and take great care of your people. So feel free to send them our way. And we'll see you guys soon.